I'd like to see your take on the games I presented here. I'm pretty sure, at least, that there are some pretty controversial picks on my list. Hey everyone, this is Sir Thakos back with another video, and today I got something completely different. Today I will speak about my all-time favorite board games and card games. That is. The idea came to me because I was asked about my most favorite solo games, and while that list is also in the making, I would like to speak about my most favorite games first. I decided to actually go for a top 20 because first of all, I have quite a decently sized collection, and also I really like speaking about games. So today you will see ranks 20 to 11. And without further ado, let's get going. On rank 20, usually would be the game One Deck Dungeon. But I decided against putting that on rank 20 for today because, first of all, I don't have the first part of One Deck Dungeon physically. I only play it on my smartphone. But another version of this game actually makes an appearance in this list. So instead, rank 20 of my games is Minecraft Builders and Biomes. This might be a surprise to many of you because this game probably doesn't strike a lot of people as a very good game, but it actually is. It's a family plus game, I'd say, so it's a little bit more complex than regular family oriented games, and especially with the expansion, which I can recommend, the game gets even much better. So in this game, you have pretty much all ingredients of a Minecraft game. So you have a wooden cube with resources that you can mine, so to speak. So you can just take resources. You can also explore. So you're exploring the landscape here and you find mobs, and also you find structures that you can build in your own biomes. And also you can find weapons and fight mobs. So you can pretty much do everything you can do in a Minecraft game. Of course, not a sandbox here. Of course, that's not possible. I don't think it's possible to really replicate Minecraft in a board game, but this is a pretty good transition. Why is it only on rank 20 then? First of all, there are much better games than this, of course. That's one thing. And the other thing is the wooden cubes are great. There is even a little mechanism that you can put them in like a larger cube. One thing I don't like too much is that the components, they aren't anything to write home about. Down here, that's what you need for your biomes, and this is like very thin cardboard, and they just could have done it a little bit nicer and better. It's a good game. What I really like too is it doesn't really matter where you get it, because while I have the German version, you have like an English manual, a German one, Italian. So pretty much there are all languages in here. So I really like that multilingual approach. So if you're looking for a Family Plus game, this is a very, very good game. And not only for Minecraft fans. All right. On rank 19, we have Tzolk'in. It's pretty low on the list, given that a lot of people love and adore this game. And well, don't get me wrong, it's a great game. It's a wonderful worker placement game that has a great mechanism. I can't turn it around now because I have an insert in here that will mess everything up. But in general, what you have here, you have a big area, and all of them have like these little cogs here. And there's like one central cog that is inserted into all of the others. And when you place a worker on one of these cogs, then each round the large cog is turned and each worker goes around this rondelle here. And you have several of these rondelles, I think 4 or 5. So the longer you leave a worker on that spot, the better rewards the worker will get at the end. But you can't use that worker during that time. So that is a wonderful mechanism because instead of putting all the workers after one another on specific areas and then retrieving them at the end of the round, you actually have a choice each round to either place one or more workers or take an amount of workers back. And this really puts you in a position that you really need to think about which worker do you place where and how long will you keep the workers there. Great, really great game, very tough. It's a very hard game. You can't play it with everyone, and analysis paralysis definitely can play a part here. This is why it's only placed ranked 19. But what I can show you is that I have the E-Raptor insert in here. It's a very nice insert, as you can see. It's like a wooden insert, very easy and quick to assemble, and very nice markings here and everything. The only issue is that contrary to the folded space inserts, you cannot turn the box on its side. Like put it on its side, otherwise everything is gonna be in disorder after that. So that's one large issue, but otherwise it's a pretty good insert. And also you might have seen that at the beginning. I actually have a solo variant here. This one is in German. I don't even know why I don't have it in English here, but this also exists in English, so you can look on Board Game Geek, and there's a solo variant. That isn't too bad, so if you would like to play this game by yourself, you can. But of course, there are much better solo games here. But Tzolk'in would be rank 19, a very, very good worker placement game. But, spoiler alert, not the best one. And the next rank, 18, would be, there we go, One Lake Dungeon Forest of Shadows. This is the second installation of the One Lake Dungeon series, and I think the last one too. And now I can show it to you a little bit in person. So basically, this is a wonderful solo game. You can also play it cooperatively with another player, but it's mainly meant to be played solo. So you see you have like different characters here, and they have different abilities. So attack, agility, magic, and HP. And they all have like different values here. And what you then do is each of these values is related to a die, a specific die. So the attack here would be related to the yellow die, and the agility one to the pink one. And this is how many die you can use during that round. And then you have a little deck of cards here. This is the dungeon you will traverse. So you shuffle that up. You pick a specific boss you want to fight, and then you go through the entire dungeon. Just card by card, you turn them over, and you can look in specific rooms. You can also skip an encounter and do a different one, and then you will just go floor by floor, and until you reach the boss. And when you defeat a creature, you can always look to see if you want to have the skill here on the left. Oh, sorry, you didn't see that here on the left, or if you want the skill down here. So there are different skills you can collect. Also, you can just take the experience up here. And this is done really well, because if you want the skill, you take the card and put it down here. And then you see you have several skills at your disposal. If you just want the abilities, you just put it right here. And then you get more dice and more HP. Or you just take the XP that you put under a different card. One of the best solo games, seriously. So if you can get a hold of that and you like solo games, you like dungeon crawling, this definitely is a game I can wholeheartedly recommend. And let me just pack that up, and that would be rank 19. There we go. Now let's get to rank 18. This might be a game most of you don't know, because I think actually it is a German one. I don't know if it exists in English, but I will still show to you, because you could actually replicate that yourself without buying a game. This is one of my most favorite party games. It's a collection of cards. You always have the green cards are beginning of sentences, and the blue cards are the end as sentence endings, so to speak. And you choose one beginning and one end, and write that on a piece of paper at the very top. And then you fold the piece of paper so you don't see the sentence anymore. And then you give the paper to your player on the left. And all other players do the same. Then you look at the sentence, and you try then to draw what that person wrote down. So you draw that, and then you fold over the drawing. You give it back to the next player. The next player only looks at the drawing and then writes down a sentence describing it. This is a really, really funny activity. There are no winners in the game, because at the end, when you get back the piece of paper with your sentence at the top, you just unfold it and show to the entire group what actually happened to your sentence. And these sentences are all really wacky, don't make any sense, are totally crazy, and this is a really great party game. But you can also just do it yourself. You can probably find really strange sentences online and then just distribute these sentences and play it that way. So this is pretty much just a collection of wacky sentences you can combine. And you can combine up to 90,000 sentences that way. So this is really great, and I've played this with a lot of different groups, and every group just adores this game. So there's like a really good time and a really funny time guaranteed. So if you maybe there is something like that in English, if there is something you should definitely consider getting. On rank 16 we have Patchwork. Patchwork by Uwe Rosenberg. This is one of the best two-player games in my opinion. What this game does is you all will get a blanket right there. No, that's not the blanket. Let me see if I can find the blanket over here. So each player will get a blanket like this, and then you will put all of these different patches like all around the time tracker, which is this board over here. And then you have like a little figurine that you can move around, and you can take these patches. They cost time for you to take, and also cost an amount of buttons, but you can also get buttons later on by putting these patches onto your blanket. And your goal is, before time runs out, so before you move to the end of the time tracker here, to fill as much of your blanket with these patches as you can, because each square that is not filled will give you a minus point. This is similar to other Uwe Rosenberg games, such as The Feast for Odin, this mechanic. This is a really simple game. It's fast, it's easy to teach, but it's a whole lot of fun. It's very puzzly, but there is no real analysis paralysis, because you can always only take one of 3 different patches. So analysis paralysis usually isn't a topic here. Definitely one of my most favorite two-player games. Patchwork by Uwe Rosenberg. Alright, rank 15 is this beauty here. You probably already heard about the game. If you would like to see a playthrough and also a little review of that, I got some on my channel, a video for each. This is Canvas. One of the most beautiful games in my collection. This is something I backed on Kickstarter last year, and that arrived a few months ago, just a short time before I started my YouTube channel. And in Canvas, you all have like 3 canvases here, and then you will have specific paintings or part of paintings at your disposal, and you can then just take these and later on combine them to different paintings in order to reach specific goals and combinations of symbols here. I will not go into detail how it is played, because as I said, there is a video on my channel that details all of that, but this is a really fun game and has a very solid solo mode also. It's easy to teach. You can play it with almost anyone. It has beautiful components, beautiful artwork, and it's also great to store, because let me just show you. If you close up the game again, you see at the back there is like a little hole here, so you can actually put it on the wall like a painting. And there's also no branding here, so you can actually put it on the wall like a painting, which is a great touch. A few weeks ago there actually was a campaign for the expansion for that. I did not get that, because I think it just makes the game more complicated than it is, and this way it's just perfect. So yeah, that is Canvas. And 14 is, well, you probably expected that at some point. It's Soviet Kitchen Unleashed. This is a wonderful game. I'm not going to speak too much about it, because I do have a how to play video on my channel. I published a playthrough of the first mission, but this is an app-central or app-dependent game where you try to cooperatively combine different colors to get a specific color mixed. And the closer you are to the color that you require, the higher percentage you have. And then you have to go through a lot of missions in Russia and the Soviet Union to get ahead. It's a really good game. Unfortunately, it is not easily accessible outside Europe, or at least outside Germany. So maybe at some point it will be available internationally. But if you can get a hold of this, it's not very expensive. If you can get a hold of this, please do. This is a hilarious game that is fun with any group. I've never played this with anyone who didn't have fun playing this game. So yeah, that would be my rank 14, Soviet Kitchen Unleashed. This is going to be another worker placement game, and in my opinion, a better one than Tzolk'in, and that is Rajas of the Ganges. You probably have heard about this. It's pretty new. It's by Inka and Marcus Brandt, and this is, I'm not going to get everything out here. This is a very, very good game where you have like a large board. Everything is like Indian inspired. It's a little bit cheesy, but it's pretty great artwork. And what you do is you have a lot of dice at your disposal. You can get more dice too. You roll them, and the numbers and the colors of the dice are your workers. So you actually use these dice as workers to achieve specific goals. And the best thing about the game is the scoring, because you have a fame track here, and also you have a gold track. And you can get fame, you can get gold, but the end of the game is triggered when both of your markers meet. This is genius, because there are several resources you have to juggle, and you can go all for gold and just a little bit of fame, or the other way around, or both equally, and everything has like a different strategy. So you can actually replay this game much better than Tzolk'in. It's a much better replayable game. Also, one of the two resources, gold, is actually one you can spend to do specific things. So it could be that you go up your fame and gold track, but then you use some of your gold and the track goes down again. So it's pretty funny. There's a lot you can do. The only gripe I have with this game, why it's not in my top 10, is that there are specific tactics that are superior to other ones. This is still something I'm trying to figure out, if that is a game breaker, if you play it too often. But otherwise, this is a very good game. And that's Rajas of the Ganges. Rank 12 probably isn't a surprise to a lot of people, because it's a very, very good game. That is Robinson Crusoe. Adventures on the Cursed Island. Don't wonder about this title. It's the German one again. This one is just great. It's kind of a worker placement game too. You could probably say that. Okay, you can't really see anything on the other side. But what you do here is you are stranded on an island, and you try, with the other people stranded on the island, you try to survive cooperatively. You see, I have the folded space insert here, which is great. The game takes a long time to set up, but it's a little bit better if you have the insert by folded space. I can really recommend the insert if you want to play this game, because otherwise it's a pain to set up. But you do have like a huge game board, a very big one. But let me just show you a little bit here. There we go. So you have specific things you can do. You can build shelter. You can build roofs. You can go hunting later on, and also over here you have like a map over here that I can kind of show you here. And this map you can explore, and you can put your shelter there. You can get resources. You have like a lot of things you can do down here. A lot of cards you can draw. So this is a game with a lot of things to do, and it's very, very hard. So I frequently lose in this game because it's pretty hard, and there's like a lot of components, a lot to do. This definitely is a game that is not for everyone. This is a game for people who like crunchy games, who like to get lost for hours in a really tough game and don't mind maybe losing after a few hours. But it's cooperative, and you can also play this very good solo. Still, it never was in my top 10. And it might even lose a few ranks when new games enter my collection, just because it has such large overhead. It really if you haven't played it in a few months, it takes quite a long time to actually learn it again, to teach it to people again, to get it set up and to actually play it, and then you probably lose because you aren't as skilled anymore. And so if I want to play something solo, I hardly ever get this to the table. There are much better solo games there that have much less setup time and are just more fun. But still, if you like crunchy games, this is a pretty good one. But there are better games out there altogether, cooperative ones and also solo games. Alright, and now we will get to rank 11. This is a game I also have a video on my channel. It's the first game by Ryan Laukat on this list. This is Megaland. I'm not going to go too much into detail. I'll just show you the back of the box. If you want to have know more details about the game, check out the video on my channel. I actually talk about Megaland there. So this is a push your luck game. It's one of the best push your luck games in my opinion. It has great art again, as we are used to by Ryan Laukat. And there is like there are levels you go through with your character. So you turn over level cards, and then you lose HP depending on the monsters that appear there. And at some point you can just say, okay, I'm going to leave the level, and you will get a treasure for each enemy or for each card that you persevere before exiting the level. Or if you fall, so if you actually lose all your HP, you lose all your treasures. With the treasures you can buy buildings, and these buildings, some of them you have in every game, some of them are completely randomized. And with these building gives you gold, and at the end you need, I think, 20 gold to win the game. Very simple, but less simple than other push your luck games, and great. So I can really recommend that game too. It's really fun. I don't know how hard it is to get. It was back then, it was on Kickstarter, I think. I got it at retail, but I think I got like one of the last 2 copies. So I don't know how hard it is to get, but I suppose maybe at the Red Raven shop it should still be possible to get, I suppose. Alright, and that is it with my ranks 20 to 11 of my most favorite board games of all time. I hope you had some fun, and please let me know in the comments if you disagree or agree with me. I'd like to see your take on the games I presented here. I'm pretty sure, at least, that there are some pretty controversial picks on my list, but these are all games I've played quite a lot, and they will mostly only go down if any new games enter the collection that are great. But since I often get new great games, that does tend to happen. Alright, if you're still watching, thank you for sticking with me until the very end, and I will see you next time. Alright, take care everyone. Bye bye.